Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we'll mention that in the pre-show. Welcome everyone. This is the pre-show. I'm gonna go let y'all know that it's brought to you by SpinWizComics.com, also on iOS and Android. Please check them out. Here's a short video. So yeah, a butt ton of creators, a butt ton of publishers, just a butt ton of free comics, literally free comics, and these aren't Marvel and DC. Okay,
but you don't need just Marvel and
yeah,
DC.
you don't need just Marvel and DC. And a lot of these creators that are on this particular website on spinwizcomics.com, you are going to see at Marvel and DC.
Well, let's be honest.
Eventually.
Let's be honest. The best books usually are not at Marvel or DC. So you should definitely check this out.
Marvel and DC are basically like, we always talk about how IDW's got, these different licenses and things like that. Marvel and DC are basically licensed. They just have the best damn characters under their license.
I mean, that's why we read comic books, is because unlike any other medium, you have the vastest variety of things to choose from. It's not like television. It's not like movies. Independents are regarded as just as highly as some of the major publishers.
Typically, it's just one guy's vision.
Yes.
And he gives it, he pays for an artist to complete his vision. And I'm sorry, that's an amazing way to get fiction, dude.
I agree.
It's still graphic. It's still, I consider it one step down from a television show, if that's the comparison you want to make. But
I think it's ahead.
I do too.
It's ahead because you know what? It's the only medium that asks the fan to participate. You create the sounds of their voices. You decide what stories mean the most to you. You give emphasis to certain lines.
You fill in the spaces between the panels.
Yes. You do. Exactly. Yeah. You have to actively make the story go together. Yes.
All right. So we are waiting on at least one half of the comic book bullies. Eli's going to show up. The movie that we're going to talk about, Gremlins, may be a little bit too scary for Leroy. He does not do horror movies. He does fit, and this is his own words, that black trope of not liking horror movies. Those aren't my words. Those are his words.
Those are his.
But this is the part of the show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show. What we're going to do on the show is talk about Gremlins.
Man, oh, hey, you got the file this time.
I did get the picture this time. So, yeah, we're Geekterion, best of the best in geek movies, nerd movies, movies that matter.
Movies we just like,
Yeah. Well, they have to matter in some way. But I guess liking them is good enough in terms of them mattering. Right.
I mean, they all definitely play a part in geek culture going forward.
Yes.
All of these movies are important to geek culture, as far as not all of them are technically the most successful films, but all of them.
This one was.
This one.
Oh yeah, this was very successful.
This is probably the most. I don't know. The Matrix was very successful too.
Yeah. Matrix probably made more than this. I don't think I have those numbers, box office numbers or anything. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do Geekterion Collection Gremlins very soon, shortly. Minutes away. What are we going to do next Geekterion Collection in January? We're not sure yet. We all have a pick. We all have, choices that we want to see on there. But if the comic book bullies are going to make it a habit of coming by here and jumping,
they should get a pick.
They should get a damn pick too. So we're going to wait for at least Eli to show up. But let's just give our picks.
Yeah, so some future stuff to comes. They will everything we talk about.
I don't have a pick right now, man. This was my pick.
Exactly. So you get a gimme. If I had the next pick, my next pick is going to be, and this is kind of timely considering one of the actors in the movie just died. The Fifth Element.
That is what I've been thinking about for a while.
That is a fantastic movie.
It's a fantastic movie. It's a great science fiction movie in that it throws you into this world and doesn't, wait for you to catch up. It just throws all of this stuff at you, and then that's it. There you go. You got it. Jules.
I thought you were going to say we needed to watch No Holds Barred.
Oh, dude. We can watch No Holds Barred.
No. That's not and say we didn't. That's not and say we didn't.
Yeah, that
hey, I still think it's better than the one with David Arquette in it. What was that?
It is better. Ready to Rumble? That's
terrible.
Shit.
That's
an awful wrestling movie.
Oh, there's Eli. Eli's joining the bunch. Hello. From over there at the Comic Bullies. We're in the pre-show right now. We haven't even started the show, so you haven't missed anything, Eli. But we were kind of talking about you and the Bullies. Okay. If you and Leroy are going to make a habit of jumping on this show, then you guys have to make the next pick for January. Since you're here, you have the honor of making the next pick.
For movies?
No pressure.
Yeah, for the movie, for the next episode of this show of Geekterion. You don't have to do it right now. I don't want to do it right now.
You don't have to do it. No pressure. No pressure. We're talking about probably future movies.
Something that Leroy would watch too.
Yeah, it has to be. It can't be. Yeah, it can't be a horror movie.
So
that nixes like half my movies.
Exactly.
That's fair. Right? That's fair. Gomer just brought up Fifth Element.
Yeah, Fifth Element.
I was about to bring up the original Mad Max as a very important part.
That's good. I like every other.
I know everybody likes Road Warrior better.
I like Thunderdome better than that one too.
Oh, Thunderdome!
I love Thunderdome.
I love Thunderdome, but Road Warrior is the quintessential, or it was until Fury Road showed up.
Yeah, right.
Mad Max movie, yeah.
But eventually we should do Road Warrior as well. But you really should start at the beginning with that one.
Mad Max is so boring, though.
It is, dude. It's so boring.
So good though. But you know what? Like that is what geek culture is for a lot of us. To some people, some people may not understand it. Some people may not have the
understanding it. Don't make it any more interesting, does it?
But you know what? It's good to some. But I've also been thinking about 12 Monkeys because it's very apropos for this year.
Yes. Oh man, yeah. This is the year where they're coming back to.
Yeah. Yes. This is it. This is the year.
I watched Fight Club again over the weekend just for background noise. Man, we could do that, but the themes for that, we've been talking about that damn movie for 2 hours.
Oh, Fight Club is definitely on my list of things to talk about. Also, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, yeah, talk about boring.
Why are you picking all the boring ass?
Talk about boring. Why don't you just pick the first Star Trek movie?
No.
The first Star Trek movie's literally got a 15-minute tour of the outside of the Enterprise. Even Kirk's like yawning.
It's going to be Wrath of Khan. To be fair,
Wrath of Khan.
It's going to be Wrath of Khan. Just like if we do Star Wars, it's going to be Empire Strikes Back and only Empire Strikes Back.
Rogue One. We could do Rogue One.
Oh, we could do Rogue One, but you got to do Empire first. You got to do Empire.
So
I don't know. You think Leroy's seen Aliens? I would pick Aliens.
Oh,
that's a horror movie, man.
That's a horror movie, though. Yeah.
Watch that. He's too scared.
I'd love to watch Aliens.
I would love to
do Aliens.
I don't need to watch Aliens. We could do Aliens.
I don't need to watch it. We can do it right now.
Yeah, we can do it right now. I've seen that movie a shit ton.
So we'll come up with that later. The Comic Book Bullies, they're always doing shit. Is y'all's end of the year show next week? Is that when y'all are doing it?
I guess. I don't know if
Leroy doesn't tell you. He just says, "Okay, we're doing this show. What was your 5 favorite comics of the year?"
He just sends me shit throughout the week, and then that night we pick what we're going to talk about. And nice. I don't know if we're doing a list. He hasn't told me about doing any lists.
It's not much to really pick from. But I know on This Geek in Comics, we are going to do an end of the year thing. We should probably make it an extra Tuesday sort of show, so that Jules can be there and Taylor. Everybody can be there.
Nice.
So
that'd be nice.
We'll figure that out. We are also going to do a top 5. Eli's in on that. I need to get with Leroy and you on that too. What we're going to do for the next top 5.
I thought we were doing comic book runs, or what was? Or is that not
comic book runs would be dope.
That'd be dope. We'd all have fun doing that one.
I mentioned to Leroy top 5 episodes of Community.
Oh, I would.
Dude, that would be dope.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I mean, I can't watch 3 paintball episodes, the D&D episode.
You can't watch the D&D episode anymore.
I'll find the fuck.
I got the D. I got it. I got it.
I got it too.
You can find it.
You can definitely find it.
But man, that's bullshit.
Voodoo might have it. Shit, check Voodoo.
Yeah,
they might have it because you have the option to buy. I don't know.
I'm just gonna steal it from somewhere. Damn it! If they're gonna ban it, I'm gonna steal it. Okay, that's the way it works.
That is kind of the way it works.
All of that is to come before the end of the year. Also, I'm thinking about adding either a monthly or twice a month Star Wars show.
Okay.
Wow.
There's
really?
so much fucking Star Wars shit coming out now. The comics.
A lot of Star Wars
I ain't
shit.
gonna read those damn novels. I already know I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, like the High Republic novels are coming out and shit. I'm not reading that. But I don't know. All that's to look forward to. But again, this was the pre-show brought to you by SpinWiz Comics. Check them out. SpinWizComics.com. Also on iOS and Android. It's literally free comics. All right, let's get this show on the.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, so classy. Got my monocle polish. Got my white wine spritzer.
And this goes well with my tea.
Oh, look at you. Earl Grey hot.
I am drinking Earl Grey.
Welcome, everyone, to Geekterion Collection, the best of the best of the best in geek cinema. We're talking about Gremlins, Christmas classic, horror comedy classic. I'm your co-host, Gomer. With me, as always, Adam Normal, Jules Shrew. And from over there at the Comic Book Bullies, check them out. Search everywhere for Comic Book Bully Podcast. Eli, how's it going, everyone? How's everyone going?
Oh,
It's going great, man.
Yeah, me too, man. Going good.
Yeah, I'm ready to talk about this movie.
All right, well, let's jump into it then. I will start with my long tirade of facts and things.
crap. I wrote notes and I left them in the other room. Fuck it.
Oh, go get them real quick.
Go grab it. He's just
Go
gonna
grab
name
it,
off.
guys.
No, we'll go off the top. We'll go
All
off
right,
the top.
off the top.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Freestyle is shit.
Gremlins, a 1984 American comedy horror film written by Chris Columbus and directed by Joe Dante. Chris Columbus has been involved in so much awesome. He wrote this, Goonies. He produced Pixels. He directed Home Alone, Mrs. Doubtfire, some of the Harry
Another great
Potters.
Christmas movie.
Bicentennial Man, one of my faves with Robin Williams. Most recently, he directed and produced The Christmas Chronicles 2, where somehow Snake Plissken is Santa Claus. You know, that old Jack Burton says, ho, ho, ho. This is literally my notes. I'm reading from my notes. I must have been hammered when I wrote this. Joe Dante directed The Howling and the Twilight Zone movie before this, which is probably why they gave him the horror.
He also did Piranha, which was a Jaws ripoff.
Yep. Explorers, Inner Space, one of my favorites.
I love Explorers. And
Amazon Women on Mars, which I bet only Eli and I have seen.
On the moon.
Oh, man. The Burbs, Small Soldiers, and an HBO movie in 1997 called The Second Civil War with James Earl Jones and Dennis Leary as news anchors and Phil Hartman as the president.
That sounds amazing. I might
Dude,
have to
it's
go find
really cool, man.
It's really good.
It's a satire about anti-immigrant sentiment in the United States. Ron Perlman is also in it. So, do not miss that.
No, that is something to watch.
Gizmo was played by Howie Mandel. Does anyone know who played Stripe?
Yeah, Megatron.
Megatron. I did not know this.
You didn't know?
Not before researching this for this show.
Dude,
Frank fucking Welker.
Yeah, man, he was everywhere.
He's also the guy who suggested that Howie Mandel perform in Gremlins. The majority of the other Gremlins were performed by Michael Winslow and Peter Cullen, who is Optimus Prime, and Michael Winslow's the dude from Police Academy.
Sound effects guy.
Yeah, sound effects guy.
Bob Bergen, Fred Newman, Mark Dodson, Bob Holt, and Michael Sheenan also did voices on there. They have amazing resumes. Check them out.
Incredible voice cast.
Let's get into some more of the cast. Hoyt Axton plays Rand Peltzer. Do you know he wrote the song "Joy to the World"? Not the Christmas song.
Yeah,
he's
Three
Dog
Dog singer. Yeah.
3 Dog Night.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I got more. Polly Holiday as Ruby Deagle. She played Flo, the waitress, in a show called Alice that I was quite fond of as a child. Kiss My Grits.
Yes.
I was very fond of that.
For those who don't know, Alice was a spin-off from a Martin Scorsese movie called Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Was that a comedy?
Well, a comedy in the sense it's a Martin Scorsese.
Yeah,
you can't laugh at it.
Hey, for Scorsese, it's a comedy. For everybody else, it's just like, wow, that's a comedy.
If you want to call a woman whose husband dies in a car accident and she has to, make a living working at a diner, yeah.
Well, if it's Scorsese, I'm sure he could do it. The film score was Jerry Goldsmith. He won a Saturn Award for that. There's a shit ton of merch for this damn movie, including an Atari 2600 game. That's how old
this movie. I mean, Gizmo's kind of the genesis for the fucking Furbies. You remember those?
Right?
Right. I believe there was a lawsuit actually where they the people who did Gremlins sued Furby.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
they got a settlement out of it.
Yeah, they
and then they made a Gizmo Furby.
Furby, yep.
So according to Chinese tradition, Mogwai are certain demons which often inflict harm on humans. They are said to reproduce sexually during mating seasons, triggered by the coming of rain. So there you go. The rain, signifies the water that they talk about.
Yeah,
is a huge
Chris Columbus. He was living in New York at the time, going to NYU Film School when he was writing the script, and he spent a lot of time in Chinatown. And he saw all these little like novelty shops, and that's where one of the inspirations came from. But then he looked up the definition of devil in the Chinese language, and Mogwai is sort of the definition of that. So that's how he came up with the species name.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, the other thing interesting about Mogwais is they are the devils during the rain season when you're inside a lot, which placates to being snowed in a lot in New York. Very much where you're stuck inside, especially during the holidays with the people you don't really like. So
this guy's already digging into the.
I went deep for this one.
Also, the original script was more hard R, straight up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which got toned down once Spielberg got a hold of it.
Yeah, there was a lot more violence. At one point in the script, the mother was supposed to get her head cut off, decapitated. So yeah.
They make human hamburgers at McDonald's in the script.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And Gizmo was originally supposed to turn into a gremlin.
Yeah, he was supposed to be striped.
Yeah, but then Spielberg was like, "No, man, we gotta keep
merchandise this.
We gotta eat the hell out of this.
We got to keep one of these creatures cute so the audience can identify with." And that's when the script sort of took this sort of family-friendly, emotional turn. When so kids can identify. Billy had a sidekick, through Gizmo, and that's when it kind of the tone softened after that. So.
Okay, so this is one of the movies like you were talking about that had the whole PG-13 thing established. It wasn't quite a PG, it's not quite an R.
This and Temple of Doom are the two movies that are credited with creating the PG-13.
Yeah, and I remember that because I saw this in the theater back then, and I remember like articles coming out in the newspaper. Parents were pissed off. Particularly the scene with Corey Feldman when he cuts the Christmas lights with the scissors. That caused an uproar.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
You're teaching kids to cut Christmas lights with scissors.
Yeah,
that's what your kid gets.
Electrical wires with metal scissors. Yeah. So it caused some controversy, and it did catch us off guard. I did not expect this to be. I mean, I expected sort of a funny, fun movie, but I didn't expect it to go as hard as it did at the time. I was like, 10 years old when I saw this?
Well, they killed that old bitch. They killed this old bitch.
Oh, yeah. They killed a lot of people in this movie.
Yeah.
They have a high body count in this movie.
Yeah.
They basically kill a whole town.
Yeah. And it's all cartoony, comic book, cartoony, humor, violence.
Violence. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very much a Warner Brothers cartoon. It's like Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Chuck Jones is in the movie, so.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Chuck Jones is in the movie.
Bill Peltzer, we were talking, he's sort of the lead, who's not a monster. He was a big comic book guy, but he's got a girlfriend, Phoebe Cates. Oh, wait. Wrong movie. Wrong movie. I think she's hotter here, I'll be honest. That look on her face. But there was some discussion about her actually coming off of more risque movies. That is she?
Yeah,
really,
they didn't think she could be like innocent enough, which I think she pulled it off.
Yeah.
I think she was fine.
She pulled it off. Dark as fuck. But
yeah.
All right, let's just get there because her fucking speech, the thing she's known for most, I think, in this movie, is the speech about her dad dying in the chimney. It seems so out of place. Okay. I understand that old ladies are getting murdered. World War II vets are being, fucked with by these gremlins. But man, and it comes out of nowhere. She's just talking to her boyfriend, kinda, and she's like, "Yeah, this terrible dark thing happened to me, and Christmas sucks." She gets into other things like, well, the holidays usually aren't great for a lot of people, and that's a true thing. And that was, I think, a little bit ahead of its time in terms of talking maybe about mental illness in a way, because it does get, a lot worse during the holidays and things like that. But I don't know, man. Her whole speech about her old man in the chimney.
It is definitely
me every time.
The darkest part of this movie. But it's also kind of funny in how dark it is, because it is super dark.
Remember in the second one where they make fun of it? Like, she starts talking about President's Day, and they're like, okay. It's like, what the fuck? What?
That's actually the best part of the second movie.
That's easily the best part of the second movie.
But this is one of those scenes that was always part of the original script that I'm pretty sure they just like, no, man. Otherwise, like, her character is useless.
Oh yeah, her character has no line. She's just
her character has no line.
The bartender.
This is one of those moments that characterizes her as forever the tragedy within the story.
And they tried to take it out. They tried to take it out. Everybody, the producers, even in the editing room, they're like, "Yeah, that scene's gonna get cut." But Joe Dante and Chris Columbus like, "No, it needs to stay in there. It's required for her character, and it sort of grounds the movie in a sense of reality, so to speak, because the movie was so cartoony and out over the top that this sort of brought the movie down,
right? Because this speech it is super serious. There is no joke in there at all. No. Like, she gives it straight deadpan, like.
Even Gizmo afterwards, like, "Oh shit. Bitch."
Yeah. Like Spielberg said, "No, you got to take it out," and Joe Dante said, "No." Not. He refused to take. Like, he was ordered to take it out, and Joe Dante was like, "Nope, it's not. It's staying in there." And it hasn't affected the movie at all.
Oh no, no. Just for us to give us something to talk about, and then a stupid joke in the second one.
Yeah, and it was there for Phoebe Cates, who was not pictured originally as the kind of person who could do anything serious or be even innocent. They were like, yes, but like, this literally makes Phoebe Cates have a little bit more depth to her resume, is this scene. So they fought really hard for her to get to keep it, because
what did she do after this, though? She didn't do nothing after Gremlins.
No, she didn't do anything. She had Gremlins 2 and Drop Dead Fred, and she dropped out of the acting world.
Drop Dead Fred.
That's a dope movie, man. That is a dope movie.
It is a good movie. It is a movie, though.
Rick with the silent TV.
Yeah.
Okay. So Billy is a comic book dude. They don't really get into it, but he is. Okay.
A lot of those scenes got cut.
What?
There's a whole lot of scenes in this, or there were a whole lot of scenes where it actually goes into him wanting to be like a comic book artist, not wanting to be a bank teller, but all that got kind of cut out. And that's what he's doing in the beginning of the movie when he's in the bar. He's talking to Chuck Jones. He's going over his comic book art.
Oh,
yeah, and he draws that dragon with Mrs. Deagle's head on it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. There was supposed to be a lot lot about him wanting to be a comic book artist.
I was immediately.
If you just look at his bedroom, there's a Road Warrior poster. There's all these old monster movie posters. He's reading like comic books and stuff, all strewn all over his bed and stuff like that. So,
I was immediately drawn.
He was a geek. Billy was a
geek.
He was a nerd.
He was one of us.
Yeah.
He was one of us.
We did not need the dog. Is all I'm saying. No. Okay, they kind of give him the dog to sort of endear him to the audience. Like, look how much this guy.
Need the dog, but I still don't hate the dog.
I don't hate the dog.
It helps with the nuclear family, Christmas.
It's very much the nuclear family. Yeah. Without having the sibling, he has the dog.
Yes.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. Hoyt Axton is the dad, but he also plays the narrator, which works so well.
Because he's not in most of the movie physically.
Yeah.
He also just has a great voice.
And he's an inventor. He's just got this weird, cool dad quirkiness about him. You know what I mean? Even though Hoyt Axton himself was like a cocaine addict like his whole life. but it very cool. Not that a cocaine addict can't be a good dad.
80s.
Sorry, who wasn't on coke in the 80s? But he goes the basic crux of the movie. I mean, we're 20 minutes in. We haven't even gotten to the story. If you haven't seen Gremlins, DM me. I'll give you my address. You can come over and I'll hit you in the head with a fucking tack hammer because you are an idiot. But he goes and he's looking for a pet for his kid. He goes to this Chinatown store. He's led there by this little kid, and he reluctantly basically steals this. He steals Gizmo. He steals a Mogwai. I'm not sure why $200 seems like a lot for this thing.
Well, inflation
was a lot of money back in 1984.
No, it's not.
A lot of money back then. Back then?
Yeah, you guys are talking
about
now.
Do
60s,
the
man.
math.
$200 for a Mogwai.
Hey, Star Wars figures were like $2 back then.
Yes, I mean, true, but I'm just saying. The thing is fucking singing. And,
not only singing, teaching people to do it.
Yeah, teaching Corey Feldman where he fucked up in the song or whatever.
Yeah.
But
which is a great song, by the way. I love the music in this movie.
Yeah.
Jerry Goldsmith, Gizmo is a great theme, and then just the Gremlin theme.
It's time to
Gremlin theme in general is great too. Yeah, nice and wacky.
It's got this sort of a carnival circus quality, which totally fits the tone of the movie.
Yeah, yeah. So after he basically steals this animal from a store, I'm not sure why Gizmo's even in the store. Why wouldn't this old Asian dude?
You
keep it in his garage.
You've seen like stores and stuff that have like cats or something just roaming around or whatever.
Oh, it's like the library cat.
Yeah, kind of like the same thing. Yeah, it's the old Chinese man's Gizmo.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you ever been to a curio shop in New York, they'd have birds for sale randomly. Yeah. There's lots of places like that. Yeah. Having been there myself, I can tell you personally, you go to a curio shop.
Well, Eli's from New York originally.
Not originally, but most of my family.
Yeah.
All my brothers and sisters were born in Brooklyn. I'm the only one who was born in South Dakota. Yeah.
So then we move on from there, where Rand takes Gizmo home. He learns the rules. All right, these are the most arbitrary fucking rules ever.
Seriously.
Okay? If I'm on a plane, do I go by Greenwich Mean Time for midnight? What do we do in case of?
It's another great joke in the second one. Yeah, they make fun of all. Oh,
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So can he drink after midnight? How do they even drink if you can't get them wet?
Isn't it always midnight? Like somewhere? Like, is it always after midnight? Isn't it?
What do we do for daylight savings time?
Yeah, that's a whole other level.
All right, and if you live in Indiana, which I'm thinking they're in Indiana, are they not in Indiana?
I'm pretty sure they're in
Kingston
Indiana.
Falls?
Kingston Falls, wherever that is.
It's like Springfield. It's everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't know where it is. It's everywhere and nowhere.
Small
but they
town
may not
America,
have daylight savings. So, okay. So then he fucks up, obviously. Corey Feldman spills water all over him, and then there's like 5 other ones or something. He gives one of them to his teacher, which is so fucking weird to me.
Weird.
It's like, he doesn't give it to the teacher.
The science teacher to.
It's the science teacher. It's the only guy that he knows that knows science stuff. So
the biology teacher,
yeah. I guess it works.
It makes sense.
It seemed weird to me, man. It seemed weird. Right then, I would be freaking out. Okay, I would be. Dad, take it back. I don't want this present anymore.
You don't like the alien eggs?
And his dad is like,
straight up
oh
like
shit, every kid in America is gonna want one of these fucking things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't know if it adds to just the ridiculousness of everything, the way it just doesn't seem realistic to me, the way everyone reacts to these creatures.
Well, it shows, it's all about themes, right? It's showing us, white men trying to use somebody else's culture that we don't understand, somebody else's thing that we don't understand, and we're just trying to make money off of it just because we see it multiplying in front of us. We see easy money, not really understanding the unintended consequences that will happen later when it blows up in our faces.
If we want to get deep right now, because that's basically what the movie's about. The movie's about corporate greed, exploitation of nature and natural resources, appropriating cultures, all that. You know, the dad is constantly trying to sell something. He's constantly wheeling and dealing. Yeah, first thing he tries to do when the Mogwai multiplies is he wants to sell it. You know, this will replace the dog as the pet. You know, the bank. You know, Billy works for a bank. Mrs. Deagle's trying to foreclose on everybody. You know, the fact that the final battle takes place in a department store.
Right.
That's totally about, you know, again, just the materialism of the 80s. And
that's very much exactly what this is about. This is made in the decade of decadence, the ultimate of excess, the consumer generation.
Yeah,
very ironic with all the merchandise that came off of this.
Dude, that's my next point, dude.
Yeah, the irony of the merchandising of
it's like Alan Moore and Watchmen all over again.
Agreed. This whole movie pokes fun at the absurdity of consumerism at its height. And where does it take place? But the most capitalist holiday, especially in the 80s, Christmas.
Yeah.
It takes place in Christmas.
Yeah, and Gremlins is capitalism run amok. That's what they are. You know, they
smoke,
get loose,
they drink, they
tear up the town. They tear up this. You know, it's like corporate greed destroying small towns because that's what happens.
There it is. That's what happens.
That is exactly what it's about.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And they were. Yeah, that's kind of pretty much the underlying comment of the movie. You know.
Yeah. Where does the Snow White come in?
Mr. Futterman.
Yes, go ahead.
Constantly talking about that foreign piece of crap. You need
American he is such a far right winger, kind of like conspiracy theorist.
Yep.
But he's right in the end.
He's right. He's talking about corporate. That was the beginning of corporate downsizing. When corporations were branching out and using cheap labor in other countries, and here's Futterman talking. You know, we should have got a Zenith, this foreign piece of crap. You know, American-made machinery don't ever do this. You know, so yeah, that's all complicit to the whole theme of the movie. That capitalism is, strains down the working class. You know.
Yeah, and Futterman was laid off, right? He was a
out
of work.
He was an out of work veteran.
Yeah.
And see, this is why I picked it for this movie for December, because this is a real Christmas movie. You know, people say it's not a Christmas movie; it just takes place during Christmas, but it's not. It's a critique of Christmas. It is a critique of the consumerism culture. But then the movie is actually just steeped in Christmas. Like the whole thing, from beginning to end, is nothing but Christmas. From the
do you hear what I hear
with the when it starts playing the Christmas song, where you see the whole town all in white. Every scene has something to do with Christmas going on. Either they're like buying Christmas trees, or they're hanging up lights, or something's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. The mom's watching It's a Wonderful Life at one scene. And,
which the town was actually based off of the town from It's a Wonderful Life. It was meant to give you that feeling.
It was shot on the same set as Back to the Future. You can definitely see it. A famous lot that they're shooting the town. I think Monster Squad was shot there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
A ton of movies were shot on this famous Warner Brothers backlot.
Yeah. So okay, because the consumerism, of course, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs come in, and hi ho, it's off to work we go is obviously pushing against those very same themes that you guys, are talking about, as they just lay back and make fun of everything going on. And
and also I take it, after these monsters run amok and they're tearing up the town, and I think this, the Snow White, to me anyways, the Snow White scene, the fact that they tear up and they blow up a movie theater playing a Walt Disney movie. It's just about, the 80s filmmakers, the filmmakers of the 80s. I mean, that was a renaissance in cinema, with all this new technology and special effects. It gave filmmakers the opportunity to be more innovative with their storytelling and their movie making. And, they blow up Walt Disney. They blow up, this classic Disney movie. It's like, we're coming in. It's sort of like this rebellion against classic cinema. This new wave of punk rock filmmakers are coming in taking over, and we're gonna blow up Disney.
Blowing stuff up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I kind of felt that same way. I was leaning more towards like, all right, this is your parents' kids movie.
Yes.
Snow White. Gremlins is your kids movie.
Gremlins was my kids movie.
It was me too.
I had 3 movies growing up. I had Gremlins. I had Lord of the Rings. I'll count all those as one. And then I had Godzilla versus Biollante. Sure. Those were the 3 movies I had, and I wore all 3 of those out.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw, like I said, I saw this like 4 or 5 times in the theater that summer.
Nice.
Like 84 was a good year for movies. That was like Ghostbusters and Temple of Doom and so many. Never Ending Story came out that year. But yeah, Gremlins was probably my favorite movie, and I love Temple of Doom and I love Ghostbusters, but I loved Gremlins. I'm like, the first time we saw it opening weekend, me and my friends, the theater was packed. We were way up in the front row, and we were laughing our asses off.
Nice.
And like
That's
especially
awesome.
like how hard it, like we didn't expect it to to be as scary as it was, and I think that's what
because
caught everybody
it is
off
very
guard.
scary in parts, because the whole kitchen scene.
It's even got a jump scare at the end.
It does.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and the fact the fact that the trailers, I remember the trailers. They purposely, you did not see these creatures until you saw the movie. Yep. You saw the trailers, and you're like intrigued. They never showed you anything. They didn't show you Gizmo or the Gremlins. So you watch this movie, and it goes by before you don't see Mogwai for like 20 minutes, and then you don't see the Gremlins till like halfway into the movie, and then it just takes off, and that just added to the tension and the suspense. For us as a kid at the time, and especially when the kitchen scene and the mom throws the Gremlin in the microwave.
Oh,
it's awesome.
There's so much controversy about
holy
that.
Shit, that's what happens when you throw.
Yeah, they were so worried about kids throwing their animals into microwaves. Like,
I don't think it would happen like that. I've never.
It became this this cartoony violence, and we got it. We totally got it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that like back to the whole ratings board and parents freaking out that they thought this was supposed to be a kids movie, and it turns out to be this halfway horror flick. It just goes again back to the 80s. That's what was going on. This mixing, especially the mid 80s. This is 84 at the time. They started mixing horror and comedy together.
Yeah.
The 2 genres together. I mean, even in like Evil Dead 2 is a fucking slapstick comedy.
Sure.
Texas Chainsaw 2 is straight up comedy. Jason Lives. Friday the 13th 6 is a straight up comedy. I mean, they were just by then. I think it had something to do with the Reagan years. The Reagan years, the separation of the working class and the wealthy. People were struggling and poor. Crime was on the rise, and that's what happens. We cope with our struggles through the art, and we were watching a lot of horror movies. Horror movies at the time, and even back in the 50s during the Red Scare and the threat of nuclear war and foreign invasion. That's why we had all these alien movies, War of the Worlds, and it came from outer space. And so like the 80s was a time for horror to sort of flourish because people were dealing with fucked up shit in real life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And to piggyback off that, I want to go back to Snow White, because to me that scene represents, that's the thing that shuts them up. That is what Disney is, the big machine that distracts people from everything that's going on.
With the children?
Yes.
He doesn't have any.
No, I don't have any. But
it's not bad though.
No, but Gremlins is the metaphor for all the things you hate about the holidays. It's not just children being excited about all the things. It's your aunts, your uncles, the people you don't like, the people who buy into Christmas. And what shuts everybody up with that movie around Christmas time? You put it on, and everyone. Yeah,
even this movie, it could be a criticism in and of itself.
Yes, it's very much like this is the scene where it's
I don't know if it's that deep.
But you know what? It is the big machine. Disney still is one of the biggest. Yeah. And what does it do? It's what everybody watches. It shuts them all up. It stops them. It literally stops them.
Yeah.
From destroying everything. And then they just go right back. The moment it's over, it's like, okay, let's go blow everything up
Stripe
again.
goes and jumps in the damn school pool, man. Oh, what a moment. He jumps in there and you're like, oh shit.
Well, that's the moment where the movie really kind of turns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where shit really hits the fan.
Until then, you haven't really seen them yet. You know,
because the scene right after that is where they all come down the road.
Yeah, the stop motion scene.
Man, I have a spot in here for the special effects. The puppets and such were designed by Chris Wallace, who worked on The Fly, Enemy Mine, Return of the Jedi. He's uncredited in E.T. somehow.
Enemy Mine. I need to watch that. It's been so long.
Oh man, Enemy Mine is so good. I cry every.
He directed Fly 2, I believe.
Yeah, Fly 2 is a great movie, actually.
He worked with Joe Dante on Piranha. He came from both of them, Joe Dante and Chris Wallace, came from Roger Corman. They both worked with Roger Corman, so they were both like these sort of nerds that grew up watching these 50s horror movies and reading comic books, and again, that's what Roger Corman was doing. So I think he worked on Humanoids from a Deep, which
that's a good movie too.
Yes, that might be my pick.
Leroy's definitely not going to watch that one.
Leroy to watch that. If he can't handle Pee-wee's Big Adventure, then
Large Marge freaks him out. The Fly scarred me for life, man. You know, The Fly.
The Fly has one of the most. Yeah, the maggot birth scene.
Oh my gosh, I scar. That's
still. Yeah, that's one of those images that cringe.
You can never unsee. You can't unsee that movie.
So let's talk a little bit about Stripe himself. Okay, he's like, I don't know. It seems weird to me that they are they reproduce by just dropping water on him. Oh, but there's a leader one that pops out too. It just seems weird. But my favorite scene of Stripe, and they don't really get into like his character or anything, but very early on when Mom's fending off, all the other gremlins. He's in Gizmo's box, and he peeps up out of Gizmo's box like, no, I'm the man, not Gizmo. And at one point, they're torturing him, stuff like that.
Torture Gizmo.
It's crazy, dude.
He's also really good at arcade games. He's really good at that arcade game.
He shoots guns, bang bangs, num nums. He can
loves to eat,
read candy bar wrappers.
Grabs a chainsaw, the Texas chainsaw.
That fight scene is a really awesome. Speaking of the special effects, that fight scene is a real testament to the special effects for making a 3-foot tall puppet fight a man and actually make it like look real and like actually make it look like that puppet could actually kill that dude.
There's just one scene there during that fight where Stripe rakes Billy across the chest. It gets me every time. It's like, ooh, and
shoots him with the crossbow.
He goes right after him with the chainsaw.
But back to the special effects. There's no CGI. There's no CGI in there.
None.
Yeah, there were no computers in the 80s.
Yeah, this is all.
What are you talking about? Kurt Russell was one. This was all puppeteers, and they had like dozens of people off the screen working these puppets. So this is like old school filmmaking.
Yeah.
At its peak. The fact that they had because and for Gizmo, they had to make a giant Gizmo puppet. So those close-ups of Big Gizmo's face, they had to build a giant one to get that detail of his face expressions. And so then they had to build bigger props, for the Gizmo to be on. So it's just all this old school effects that you just don't really.
They also had to build like a lot of the sets. They also had to build like levels to them because you had to have room for the animators to be underneath everybody to animate everything.
They're all like laying on the floor. If you see those set photos, there's like dozens of people just laying on their stomachs on the floor with their little controllers and working these puppets and stuff.
The movies have lost them. Now it's just a bunch of nerds in front of their computers making Iron Man look cool. Nonsense. Okay, back to Stripe. I have a severe problem with there being a leader for them.
To be fair though, he's a very hands-off leader.
He's a very hands-off.
He's hands-off, but I don't understand why they have to have like this.
He's leader in the fact that he's like the alpha out of the bunch.
Yeah, why do they need an alpha?
Because it's the 80s and Stripe represents the punk scare.
You have an Optimus Prime, so you have to have a Megatron.
But I mean,
did you just say that Stripe represents the punk scare?
Yes, you got to think about.
All right, everybody, shut the fuck up while Jules pulls this one out of his ass.
Here's the thing: the Gremlins are obviously also a metaphor for the crazed kids of the 80s, the people who wanted everything, to consume everything. Stripe doesn't give a fuck the entire movie. Well, all the other Gremlins are obsessed with literally everything else. Stripe has one thing on his mind. I gotta eat, I gotta fuck, and I gotta kill Gizmo. He only gives no fucks the entire movie. He literally kills other Gremlins sitting at the bar.
He does.
He doesn't give an actual fuck about anything. He is that anarchist that everyone was afraid of in the 80s.
He just wants to play Dungeons and Dragons.
He just wants to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Yeah. He has a mohawk. You know.
He does have a mohawk.
He has a mohawk. People, you got to think about in the 80s, what in the height of the decade of decadence, where everyone should have a desk job, should work at a bank, should want to make money.
Wear a tie and a collar, yeah.
Wear a tie and a collar, which is what Billy does, who is the antithesis, but this monster that just wants to kill and fuck and do whatever the fuck.
But Billy himself is counterculture.
Oh, absolutely.
But so is Stripe and so is Gizmo. Come on, explain.
Hey, man, we all know that there's always a furthered version of you. There is always. Okay. You can have the center. You can have the far left and the far right. Stripe just represents chaos. He represents
the Joker.
He is the Joker. Yeah, he is Gizmo's Joker.
The light bulb just went on over my head. Okay.
Oh man, I don't bring up Joker right now.
No. We're not gonna bring up. But I'm saying he represents what punk was at the time: anarchy. Okay. He does whatever he wants. He literally hurts the Gremlins he makes.
All right.
I think as far as I think the Gremlins just represent just sort of our like kids, our childlike, our inner child of just wanting to do whatever, not obey the rules, just do whatever we want.
Children are bastards, guys. Children are bastards.
He says as an parent, but I do concur. They are.
Children running amok, our inner child, or our inner like what he said about chaos, just having no boundaries, no parents around. Let's just go have fun, fuck shit up, have fun, do whatever we want without any rules. Yeah. I think that's why that sort of we all sort of relate to that. Like, oh, let's just go off and not have to obey. Yeah, not fuck work, fuck school, fuck authority. Let's go out. Yeah, let's just go and have fun and party and do whatever we want. Yeah. As far as Stripe, I think that's just, Stripe is just sort of a character. They had to make a Gremlin a character. You had Mogwai, then you had to make Stripe a character. And Stripe just represents one character that the Gremlins have to fall back on,
And they needed an action figure that people could identify with.
Which I had. I actually had.
I did too.
I had that at the time I was like, 3 feet tall. So it was like half my height.
It looked like the whatchamacallit from Star Wars, from Jabba's
Rancor.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like a Rancor almost.
It was bigger than the Rancor.
Yeah, it was bigger than the Rancor, but it was all plastic and.
I had that. Which I loved, and
I wish I still had that shit, man.
Oh yeah, so do I.
It'd be worth a pretty ass.
I wouldn't want to sell it. I just want it.
Yeah, my arm, the arm to mine broke off at one point, and I was.
You played too hard, man. You played too hard.
Oh, I scared my grandmother with it.
All right, so what else do we have here? Because the end is kind of the end. Okay, they go to the mall, like you said. He gets to the fountain. They murder all of them in the in the movie theater. But Stripe gets away. They go to the mall. The puddle, the jump scare at the end, and then the puddle of goo that bubbles, dude. Oh my gosh, just the simplest fucking effect. It's a plastic bag covered with snot and dude, blowing on a pipe. But oh my gosh. It fucked with me so hard when I was a kid.
It still looks great today, man.
This movie was so much better than I remember.
Yeah.
So much better than I remember.
Yeah.
It's
the way they lit it, the way they lit those. I mean, that's the thing. They had to figure out ways to film this stuff. Yeah, if you look at it in
the
real
way they figured
time,
out to make his face dissolve is just fantastic. Like it,
yeah.
Awesome.
I can't. I don't know how they did it. It had to have been some like baking
chemistry
soda
shit, man.
vinegar or something. I don't know.
And just how his skeleton melts down. And,
oh man, just very well done, dude. Yeah, you don't see shit like that anymore.
No, you really don't, man.
No, you don't see a lot of stuff like this anymore. You don't see those practical effects. You don't see movies that have big grand sets like The Town anymore.
Yeah.
This is just like classic filmmaking, and
and at the time, like I said, growing up during then, Spielberg, anything that Spielberg attached his name to, that gave the movie a sense of, okay, this is going to be pretty cool. We better go check this out, because at the time, coming off of Jaws and Raiders of the Lost Ark and E.T., Spielberg made a name for himself, and then he teamed up with George Lucas to make Indiana Jones. So when he started attaching his name to movies, you like, oh shit, this is kind of, you know what you were going to get in like Poltergeist or Back to the Future or The Goonies,
or Close Encounters.
Close Encounters, I mean,
he's probably my top 5, man.
He might have not have made them or directed them, but if he was a producer on it, then you're like, you had to, okay, I'm going to check this out, because you knew what you were getting. You're like, let's go check this out, because this is probably going to be pretty cool, and most likely,
Jordan Peele is probably the most recent addition to that. If his name's attached to a horror or something, it's going to be dope. You're at least going to check it out.
You're going to check it out.
It's
got his endorsement.
Man, talk about 80s being a renaissance for horror movies. Right now is a pretty good renaissance for horror movies. And I think it's kind of because of the same things Eli was talking about earlier.
The political climate.
Yep.
Yeah, very much so.
I have this thing this idea, and it's not all the way fleshed out, but satire in comedy is really hard to do when there's serious shit going on. But satire in horror is easy to do when there's serious shit going on. Yeah. And I kind of think that's because of the political climates. That's what we're seeing. When a Republican drops the ball when it comes to a virus, there's trouble. Reagan had AIDS in the 80s. Trump's got his coronavirus, now.
And then during the Bush years, we were going, after 9/11 and the Bush years, and we were at 2 wars. Then you saw that rise in horror, Eli Roth and Rob Zombie.
Yes.
And then they were remaking every movie, every horror flick from the 80s, Again, back just a testament to the 80s, that decade, 70s and 80s, that time of when horror sort of blew up, there was that renaissance in filmmaking. I said, like, people, the new technologies created this new avenue in ways for filmmakers.
Even this movie sort of spawned Critters.
Yeah.
What was
Ghoulies.
it? Ghoulies. Yeah, they were
Ghoulies,
or whatever.
Troll, or that movie Troll, and
all kinds of things. Yeah, I don't know if this did it. I don't know if this was the genesis of being able to make sort of comedy horror in a way where you could just be silly and stupid and dumb, but still, if you pulled the horror off, your movie was going to be successful. I'm not sure, but
and I think that, like, back to what like the Gremlins sort of representing that inner child anarchist sort of attitude that we all sort of fantasize about. I think that's why we laugh when we see all the Gremlins causing all this chaos and shooting Mrs. Deagle through the window and have her flying through, like, that's some straight up cartoon shit, and it was hilarious.
It was. There should not be anything funny about that. The brake lights on the cop car. That should not be hilarious. But holy shit,
Santa Claus being attacked by a bunch of
cops.
I didn't ignore it. The cops.
I didn't notice it before, but I rewatched it this time, and I noticed one of the cops is the one of the dudes from Breaking Bad. Is the the old bald dude. What's his name?
Yeah. He was in Beverly Hills Cop.
He's
on Community. He actually made it.
He is on Community.
So what else do we have before we talk about more? Anything other themes, the actors, the story, anything before I get into what comes next.
What comes next?
Yeah,
There is still talk. I mean, we should talk about Gremlins 2, at least in comparing it to Gremlins 1. But there's still talk that Gremlins 3 is going to happen.
Yeah, I've heard.
And an animated Gremlins series has been greenlit at HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean,
that's the only thing I've heard. Yeah, that's actually happening. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the animated series.
It's fucked up though. I mean, they've been talking about this for over a year. Disney's like, oh no, here's 30 fucking shows that we're doing in the next 3 years. What do you got, HBO Max? And they're like, we got the Snyder Cut. They're like, just shut up.
Batman might say fuck.
Yeah, Batman might say fuck. Stupid. But all right, let's talk about Gremlins 2 first, and then we'll talk about what we want to see from a Gremlins 3 and an animated show. Gremlins 2 sucks. It
sucks.
I disagree with you. I enjoy Gremlins 2. It is the opposite of Gremlins. It is a lot more. It is all zany. There isn't. It doesn't focus on the horror really. There are small parts of horror in it, but it is largely all zany. But I enjoy it for what it is.
I think it's a comment on. I take Gremlins 2 as a comment on sequels.
It is. It makes fun of a lot of sequels.
Yes,
sure.
Sequel tropes.
It's just a straight up satire. There's nothing.
It makes fun of a lot of actual sequel movies. I mean, Gizmo straight up makes fun of Rambo Part 2. Yeah,
Rambo. Yeah, the sequels. It takes place in that high tech office building.
Like a mall almost.
Wasn't that guy? Was this guy's name Crump or something or Cramp? Yeah. It was like he was like an iteration of Trump at the time.
Oh my gosh!
You're right. All right.
Trump, this is when Trump was just first on the rise, and wheeling and dealing and buying up all the property and in league with the mob that people will deny and then say, "Oh, that's cool because he's a renegade."
It's kind of a critique of the yuppie lifestyle at the time, living in a big high rise where you have all you need in that little area.
Right? Literally becomes a yuppie.
Yeah.
In that movie.
Yeah. And there's it was the rise of cable television. So
there's a TV network that they work at.
Yeah, there's like constant need for broadcasting of shows all the time, which sort of took away from people going to the movies. So even back then they were talking about people not going to the movies as much as because of VHS and video rentals and constant cable broadcasts. So I think there's a little poking fun of that. Yeah,
I think they have a lot more fun with the special effects in that one. They get to branch out their wings with all the different.
Literally.
I mean, some of the different Gremlins are dumb. But I appreciate them for their dumbness.
I love
I think the Spider Gremlin is awesome.
I
have a picture of him right here.
The one that flies out and becomes a gargoyle in broad daylight and doesn't die. I don't know.
Well, they had this UV protector shot, or
right. He tried himself like a UV protector
shit. Okay, all right.
Don't worry, Futterman got him though. He survived the first movie.
Yeah, he falls in the cement and then gets hardened, and he's he turns up on a gargoyle.
That guy is in every Joe Dante movie.
Oh yeah, that's what Joe Dante does. Even in the first Gremlins, he populated with actors from old horror flicks. And in part 2, he had Christopher Lee. You had John Astin from Addams Family making a cameo.
Yeah.
There's that guy with the Dracula. He looked like Grandpa from the Munsters.
Oh yeah.
He's hosting the horror movie and stuff. And even then, he's like, "Oh yeah, Cramp or Crump or whatever the guy." He doesn't like black and white movies, so I can't play the classics. It's all got to be color and
oh man.
Yeah,
I may have to go back and watch Gremlins 2.
Yeah, it might deserve a better look. And
there is deeper than you give it credit for.
It is.
Here's the thing about Gremlins 2 is, just like you said before, Gremlins 1 is punk rock, but punk rock in the 90s sells out, and that's the commentary of, to me, what Gremlins 2 is. It is going balls deep in Warner Brothers. It's like, we made this cool, sort of fucked up movie that was kind of badass and totally on the fringe of what
we're gonna ruin it.
And we're gonna ruin it, but we're gonna ruin it on purpose, because that's what we do, is we double down in sequels. It isn't gonna be the punk rock first movie. All sequels are a sellout. The moment you make the sequel, you have sold out of what your idea was in the first place.
That's cool.
And that's kind of the beautiful irony of it. It's all about being exploited.
Yeah.
The whole sequel is being like Billy gets exploited in the end. He doesn't go on to the dream you wanted him to at the end of the first movie.
No, he's working a corporate job.
He's working a corporate job.
Yeah.
He does what he wanted to not do in the first place.
But doesn't the Crump guy at the end sees like Billy's drawing of his old town? Is like, this is what we need. I'm not gonna build skyscrapers anymore. I'm gonna build small towns and
Thanks a lot, Billy.
Yes. That's the irony of the whole movie.
This is what people want. Stop.
So what do we want to see in a Gremlins 3 or the animated show? I don't know what to expect from that animated show. It's probably
the animated show. I don't know. I could see it being more zany, a little bit kind of like a Looney Tunes. Yeah. I'd be okay with it kind of being like a Looney Tunes a little bit. But the movie, I definitely want it to be more like the first one. I want it to be darker.
Yeah, it should have an edge to it.
Right. I don't want it to be too edgy. I don't want it to be all like edgelord. But I'm
looking for like Evil Dead 2. I want something that rides that line of satire and horror in terms of it should be.
I maybe want a little bit more horror.
Yeah, a little bit more horror. Yeah.
I want Billy and Gizmo drive around the country and hunt Gremlin.
Oh, you want Supernatural?
I want Supernatural.
Supernatural.
Which they do own. They do own that.
I know. Yeah.
You want Jensen Ackles to be Billy this time too?
No, he's already got a gig. He's
already busy.
That's the thing. It's hard.
He's Walker, Texas Ranger now.
No, that's the other one. The other one's Walker.
Oh, is it?
Oh, the other one's Soldier Boy then in season 3 of The Boys.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah. That's what he is now.
Hey, he
Something with cars. Yeah, Fast and the Furious with Greg, because Gizmo loved driving. He was always racing.
There you go.
Yeah, Vin Diesel. Get Vin Diesel in here.
Yeah, give Vin Diesel the.
Give the Gremlins the rock bump.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. They're gonna make it CGI. They're not gonna do the traditional.
That's the problem. It needs to be puppets still.
That's the problem with remaking or rebooting stuff from the 80s. How do you introduce it? Because they want to introduce it to they want to make the kids these days give a fuck about the shit we liked back then.
Yeah.
Which most likely they're not, because they never do.
Yeah.
So in that sense, they're going to end up ruining what we loved because we're not going to like it. The audience that loves this shit is not going to like it. And the people you try to like cater to don't give a fuck about it. So like,
and the family ends up going to the movies just so they can argue about it afterwards.
Yeah.
About how good the first
the fans of the movies like, well, in the first one they did this, and then you have like, and then you're gonna have a whole generation of kids that never heard of Gremlins, and that's gonna be their first introduction into Gremlins. They're gonna say, Gremlins sucks.
Yeah,
and then we're gonna be mad at them and shit. Oh, they're stupid fucking kids.
Or they go the direction that Star Wars went and actually make pretty damn okay movies.
Make a whole bunch of whole new shit.
Yeah.
And piss off the old.
And piss off everybody.
Absolutely. And you know what? At least The Mandalorian has set the precedent of you can make a fucking puppet and use it.
Sure, yes.
Yeah.
You don't have to use the CG. That is the best part about Grogu the child. Is that he's an actual puppet most of the time.
We don't call him that here. We don't call him that.
We don't call him that.
Baby Yoda.
I know. It's not Yoda.
That's
Yoda's
why.
dead. Yoda's dead. Yoda has been dead for 3 years.
Eli
we like him because he's Baby Yoda. Yeah, the Mandalorian is Boba Fett and Baby Yoda.
Exactly.
Boba Fett shows up.
Everyone's like, I love Gina Carano as Cara Dune. I would love anybody as Cara Dune. Okay, it doesn't fucking matter who's playing Cara Dune. It doesn't matter.
But it's all nostalgia, and that's why we like it.
Yeah. It is the Bullies actually, on their last episode, were talking about how everything is changing and how The Mandalorian as a series, because of the way they film it with this, I think Eli put it, a modern day filmmaking holodeck, which is basically
the volume,
the setup they have to do Mando. That's the future, man. That's going to be every fucking movie
Leave it
from
up,
now
leave
on.
it up to Lucasfilms. Leave it up to Star Wars to be the reason why you still watch shit, motherfucker.
Exactly. That they did it in the 70s. They did it again in the 80s. Honestly,
you can shit up. Motherfuckers can shit on Star Wars all they want. They're the still reason why you watch shit.
Yep.
Yeah. They put butts in seats.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, ILM, dude. Without Star Wars, there would be no ILM. Without ILM, you would not have any movie that has special effects throughout the 80s
Pretty
and
much.
the 90s.
Yeah.
When it came to the 2000s,
Any Spielberg movie, pretty much.
yeah, when you got into the 2000s, all right, Pixar. Okay, they pretty much revolutionized computer-generated graphics in the mid 90s, and that's when shit started changing. And then who bought them? Of course, Disney.
But that was ILM was the first ones to do digital with
Exactly.
Young Sherlock Holmes, and then The Abyss and T2 and
man, I love The Abyss.
It all goes back to George Lucas and the shit that he did.
Yeah, and it's still going. That's the point. It's still happening.
The volume, because when I found out that that Mando was pretty much all shot in a studio, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
That whole show is in a studio.
Like a warehouse, just not even a big warehouse.
Yeah.
It's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What they did. And that was an evolution in itself because Favreau was doing the Jungle Book and then he did the Lion King. And so they were shooting in a studio.
Yeah.
But they were trying to figure out ways to, have him, blend in with the green screen. It's like, well, what if we just had the actual location on the green screen? And that's how, let's just build a studio where we can do that. And that hence the volume. I think that's what it's called.
I think so too. Yeah. It's just fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
So are we going to say then that Gremlins 3 is going to be terrible if they ever do it?
Most likely.
It's probably going to be terrible. They have not had a great track record for all of the licensings they've taken on over the years. Yeah. I mean, dude, we're talking about Mandalorian and Star Wars, which Disney owns. We don't talk about, DC, which Warner Brothers owns. We don't talk about Harry Potter, which Warner Brothers owns. All of the things they take, they just drive it into the ground and they take all the life out of it. I mean, that's what makes this movie so fun, is how much life it has, how relatable it is in a strange way.
Right.
And I have no faith in them doing anything to this story because there's something so beautiful about the satire of this movie that you just can't recapture. It was made at a specific time and it's still relatable now because consumerism is a part of American culture. And you're just not going to find anything that's going to poke fun at the bear. It wants to make money. It doesn't know how to talk about not making money again.
Comedy these days, comedy in this woke era where everyone's got to sort of walk on eggshells about what they say or what they show. That's going to be lost on this generation.
Completely.
Right? So it's not going to be as funny. The cartoony violence they got away with in the first one. You
can't kill old people on
what you said.
I mean, even though she's a bitch, even though she's foreclosing on everybody's house,
she's got to have a redemption moment nowadays.
Yeah, you can't.
She does. But even like you were saying earlier, even today, people won't necessarily care about Gremlins anymore. So I mean, I think today filmmakers should make their own version of Gremlins now. That's not Gremlins. Make their own new movie.
Yeah.
That is able to actually tap into what Gremlins tapped into, but for today's time.
It's not that new. I mean, it's 20 years old, but the little the doll scene in Tales from the Hood, when the little dolls come to life. That's a total comment. It was making a statement, and it was cool, and but that was like still 20 years ago.
Well, in the last episode of Mando, it did have Bill Burr in it. Bill Burr, his comedy is all anti. Woke, SJW, and he has a line in there. He says, by you people, I do mean Mandalorians. And I can't believe they let him get away with that shit. But it was very good. It's very well done. It was hilarious.
Telling the truth. That's the beautiful. That's the thing about comedy is they say things that no one else that will say, that they're afraid to say. Just like the Gremlins. The Gremlins are doing a bunch of shit that we can't do. And that's why we laugh and we love it.
Yep.
And we had such a good time.
Getting in trench coats and stripping out in front of the
brake lines on top. Fuck yeah.
There's no way a flashing gremlin will be in.
No
you cannot have, creepy, sexual harassment gremlin. These
they're getting
and then laugh at it.
They're getting wasted in there. They're smoking cigarettes in the bar. Yeah, they're not going to get away with that.
No, dude, he just shoots one while they're playing cards.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you won the game? No, fuck you. You just lost."
He was cheating though. You saw he had
like 5 aces. He had like 5 aces.
It's like, and I just want to say, props to Kate, Phoebe Cates' character, for still being a trooper and working that night.
She wanted those tips.
She was
working. She was
volunteering. She wasn't even getting paid, and she was still working Christmas Eve, serving Gremlins. She was still doing her job,
dedicated to her craft.
Testament to the working class.
Dude,
that whole scene reaffirms why I say the Gremlins aren't just kids, but all those people you hate at the holidays because they come to your house, they
come
up all your shit.
They
expect
working in retail. A worker in retail had to deal with customers during that season because customers suck.
Customers suck.
Customers suck.
Wow, dude, that is a good point for customers suck.
Yeah, that whole scene is like, this is what capitalism does to you: is you work on the holiday and you deal with monsters.
Dude, all these assholes
monsters
shit up, making a mess, don't care, demanding things, and
that's awesome.
And she's still like lighting their cigarettes and
still serving them beer. Nobody's paid a dime. They don't have any fucking pockets.
She's not getting tipped. She's volunteering. Remember, she's helping out that dude's bar because Mrs. Deagle was trying to foreclose on the bar.
What a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm glad she I'm glad she.
That's why we laughed our asses off.
Oh my god, I laughed my fucking ass off.
Because this is a movie. This is
I will say the one thing that this movie does disappoint me on is you never get to see Judge Reinhold die at the end. Yeah. Or anything. They just completely drop that guy.
Judge Reinhold.
Yeah, he just shows up to be his typical Judge Reinhold dick.
Yucky asshole, scumbag.
Yeah. I love Judge Reinhold. He plays the same character in every movie.
Yeah. Just climbing the corporate ladder. But there is that deleted. I don't know if you got the.
There is a deleted scene.
Where he's hiding in the bank vault.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh wow! Really?
Yeah. They find the boss, the owner of the bank. He's all dead, and because there was a scene where Billy got chastised by the bank manager about being late, and he has this big thing about being punctual and quoting Benjamin Franklin and all this shit. But then they go to the bank. The scene where Kate does her Santa Claus speech. They go to the bank. They find that dude's dead body, and there's a bunch of clocks piled all over.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
And then they find Judge Reinhold in the bank vault, and he's hiding. He's like, they got Mr. What's his name? I'm going to be bank president now.
Oh, shit.
It's a great scene.
He goes, where's the key to let you out? I'm not coming out. I know what you want. You want to be president. So they just lock him back in the vault.
That's even deeper into the theme, man.
Yes.
Damn.
Very much so. Very much so.
Oh, well, anyway, I guess at the end, like we said, all's well that ends well. Yeah, the Chinese, whatever store owner comes back, throws the money on the couch, like, fuck you for stealing my Mogwai, asshole.
What basically sums up the whole movie. You guys fuck up everything. You fuck up nature, whatever he said.
Yeah, you fuck up everything you touch.
Nature's gifts, and you exploit it, you corrupt it, you fuck it up with your civilized shitty society. Basically,
a great message in the end.
Yeah, sums it all up. Yeah, because it is this dark facade, and that's what most horror movies, this dark facade of Americana, Norman Rockwell suburbs. All the shady dealings that are going on. It's got the appearance of this fluffy, friendly atmosphere. But meanwhile, everyone's doing a bunch of fucked up shit.
Exactly.
Serial killers and shit are happening.
That is awesome.
Bodies in basements, and that's why horror movies exist.
Exactly.
All right. Any final thoughts on Gremlins? Anything else that we missed or that you wanted to touch on? One last thing.
It is my favorite Christmas movie.
It's mine also.
I think it's my second favorite. I'm a huge
Die
fan of
Hard?
Die Hard.
Die Hard is yes.
I love Die
It's a
Hard
good choice.
so much.
I suppose I
But
like Die
Gremlins
Hard.
is my personal favorite. Die Hard's my
I
second.
I can watch Die Hard all year round though. So.
Oh yeah, I can watch Gremlins all year.
Same.
It came out in June, actually.
Gremlins did come out in the summer. I remember it came out in the summer.
Which is weird.
That is weird.
But like Eli said, that year '84 was a huge year.
That's a big year for movies.
So
a really big
I
year.
had to find room on the calendar. All right, yeah, great movie. Let us know what you think. Leave us a comment. So yeah, thanks for listening. If you're listening, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, or you're on Twitter. Twitter might be going away as Twitter's getting rid of Periscope. I don't know. We'll still stream to Facebook and YouTube. Maybe we'll add Twitch. I don't know. But yeah, check us out on those other platforms. Just search Outright Geekery. Definitely check out the Comic Book Bullies podcast. They're doing awesome shit every week. Mostly pop culture. It's Eli and Leroy just talking shit all the time. It's awesome. I love it. My favorite show. I never miss an episode. Check us out check back with us here. Sunday nights and Monday nights, we're talking all comics and geek shit. Man, I loved you guys talking about all the Investor Day from Disney. Eli's like, dude, I took a nap and then I fucking woke up and the world changed, man.
Basically.
It was an amazing day.
I made it a point to watch and read everything before I jumped on the internet.
You had to.
I'm like, oh, I had just the biggest hard on, and then I get on the internet. The first thing I see, they should fire Kathleen Kennedy. I'm like,
oh, dude, fuck you!
Oh my god,
that shit.
Kennedy, by the way, produced Gremlins.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Fun fact. I was just gonna bring that up.
Dude, she's produced everything I loved when I was a kid.
Pretty much. I mean, anything with Spielberg name on it, I mean, she kind of produced, so.
Yeah. She made everybody's favorite movies.
And sure, you can shit on the new trilogy if you want, but she's executive producing Mando, so.
So you could stop being a dick. You could just stop being a dick.
You executive produced Rogue One, so, you know, like.
I mean, you can talk shit. I'm just going to talk shit back to you. Because that's
that's
how it goes.
Yes.
The thing about being a geek
until I get banned again for bullying.
Dude, being a geek is a safe place. We all have what we like, and if you don't like it, fuck off. You'll like something else. Who cares?
Yes.
I just got banned from another website because someone shared a meme about Anakin killing kids, and I laughed at it, and then everybody freaked out. And anyways, I'm not on that site anymore.
That's fair. That's fair.
Was it Parler?
No, it wasn't. I'm not on there yet. I'd probably get banned from there too. I got to put a different picture of myself.
Yeah. You need like a white dude, suit and tie.
I'll get the Punisher skull with the blue stripe.
No shit. Also, we're trying to wrap. OutrightGeekery.com or Patreon.com/OutrightGeekery. Just give us $1, just a tip. We're looking for money always. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. But most of all, thanks you guys for hanging out and doing this. It was fucking blast.
It was a good time.
Man, anytime.
Cool. We're gonna do it again next time. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, what movie you gonna pick, Eli? We'll decide later. I don't want to put
spot. It's got to be something that Leroy will watch. So
if he hasn't seen Aliens, he should probably watch Aliens. It's more of an action movie than it is a horror movie.
I'm pretty sure he's seen it. I don't know if he's into it as much as we are, but
it's a great one.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's got to be something he can handle.
If you just tell him that everything is either like a phallus or like a vagina.
The thing with Aliens though is I want to do Alien 2 because I think I can do both movies because they're both very different.
Yeah, I want to do Aliens, the second one. That's what I'm.
Yeah, I know, but I mean like the first. I want to do Alien 2 TOO. Yeah, like
together.
I want to do. Oh, yeah.
Okay, we can do. I can do that too.
Yeah, I have to say I like the second one. Like,
we can do Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
He was Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
The edited version with that large Marge scene.
Tell Leroy to close his eyes during the large Marge scene.
Yeah,
I should stop giving him shit because I used to be scared of the Hulk show.
Dude,
when I was a little kid.
There was a movie called The Return to Oz.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh
really?
yes, I remember that. It's like a dark Wizard of Oz movie.
So fucking dark. There's a scene where like the queen like beheads all of the beautiful women in the town and saves their heads in her closet.
Yeah.
So Dorothy's got to sneak into this closet to get this fucking, I don't know, something. But she drops something and all the heads start fucking screaming. And then the queen or whatever is laying in her bed. She gets up and starts walking towards Dorothy. She ain't got a fucking head.
That scare you?
It fucking freaked me out. It freaks me out right now just thinking about it, dude. It was so fucking terrible.
Everybody's got
that movie in forever.
That little kid scare when like I said, the Hulk TV show used to scare me because I was like 4 or 5 when that was on TV, and when his eyes would turn, and that scared me.
Yeah,
that's probably why I got into the Hulk, because when I found out he was a comic book, he was a superhero, I was like, really? He's a good monster?
Yeah. Jack Palance's voice used to get me back in the day too. From Ripley's Believe It or Not on Sunday nights. I don't know if it was the anxiety of it being a Sunday night, which I still get from time to time, but also Jack Palance's voice.
I don't know if anybody remembers or if you guys are old enough, but the Salem's Lot movie that came on TV back in the 70s. The scene where the kid floats up to the window, the vampire kid floats up into the fog. I ran out of the room. I was done. Like, fuck this shit. Didn't watch that movie for like 7 years as I was a teenager.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, well, let's get out of here. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. Stay tuned to the Outright Geekery channels wherever you're watching this. We've got so much more planned, so much more. So, yeah, bye. I need to get a better outro for this. I'm so fucking lazy. So classy. Monocle polish. I actually want to do this where it like did the spinning. Like the